Is art able to pay all your bills? Are you able to live comfortably? Because
Yes.
people don't believe that, you know.
A lot of people don't believe, but I think it's a misconception. Art is a multi-million-dollar business annually. Art has been kind to me as I've been kind to art.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your favorite art teacher, Artwork Fly, and today you will learn about how to conduct the artist interview for the artist biography. So let's fly on into it. Artwork Fly. Artwork Fly. What is the purpose of the interview?
The first reason is that it gives you an opportunity to better understand the artist. You see, we can't ask the printed text that is posted on the internet, what do you mean by this? Or to give me further insight. It's static, okay? But the artist in real life will give you an opportunity to learn and understand all of that, okay? The second reason for us to want to conduct this artist interview is that it gives us first-hand access to information that would help us to be able to put together a comprehensive biography of the artist that we would have selected. So the next reason is that it helps us to make more meaningful connections between the works that we are producing and also the works of the artist. The fourth reason, students will be able to garner greater insights into the artist's approach as it relates to things like the theme that the artist will work with, the techniques applied by the artist, the styles that the artist will explore, subject matter, and use of materials and tools.
What do I need to know in order to conduct an effective interview?
Is that you need to be aware of certain key vocabularies. And these vocabularies we would include, you need to know about technique, you need to know about style, you need to know about composition and compositional devices. So when we talk about composition, what you, the student would want to do is that you'd like to understand the decisions made by the artist in planning how the artwork is organized. And here we have some examples of compositions. We have the S composition, or the compound curve. We have the cross, we have the triangle, we have the steelyard, we have the radiating lines, and we also have the O, or circular composition. Now let us just focus a little bit on one of these. Now if you look at the steelyard, which is this one right here, what you will notice is that the compositional device known as isolation would have been used. This part of the subject matter or the composition is isolated from the other. This half of the composition is occupied largely by this tree, what appears to be a tree in the foreground, as opposed to this aspect here that has a smaller one in the background. The artist would have designed the composition in such a way that all the design elements, they pull together and meet at a particular point. If you don't understand these things, technically what is going to happen is that when you see it being practiced by an artist, you would be limited in the kind of questions that you could ask the artist about why he or she would have taken a particular route. All right, so technique. What is technique? Because I know a lot of times we confuse technique and styles. They're quite different. So technique basically has to do with a systematic procedure or an approach, okay? It has to do with how you actually go and execute the work. Here we have these spheres that would have been executed using different techniques. So we have the tonal technique right here. We have a smudge technique here. We have a hatching and cross hatching. Different techniques to accomplish more or less the same thing at the end of the day, but it's different in terms of how you go about executing. So style is basically determined by the characteristics or the features of the artwork. And this may have to do with the unique way, or what I like to call the artist's expressive language. So it's unique to this particular artist. So we have here Mr. Albert Huey, who looks a little bit more like an impressionist artist, and we have Miss Samir Tansley, who is more of a realist artist.
How do you select an artist to interview?
As a student, I am interested in creating artworks that explore the theme cultural identity. I'm drawn to realism as a style, and I want to learn how to improve my painting skills. Okay? I also would like to learn how to become a more successful artist.
In other words, you select an artist based on their theme, artistic style, and how they can improve your skills and become more successful.
But some of the questions that you want to make sure you capture will satisfy the criteria of the biography, such as who is the artist, what kind of artist is he, and we're also looking at the education and training, what is his or her creative process, influences that he would encounter, what is his theme, any special awards, any exhibitions. Now today we will be interviewing none other than Mr. Lennox Coke. I am here with Mr. Lennox Coke. Sir, welcome.
Thank you.
Who is Lennox Coke?
Lennox Coke is a Jamaican international fine artist, visual artist. I was born and grew up in St. Elizabeth, a district called Taunton. It is a farming community. And from my early year growing up, the love for nature and the love for ordinary working people have an imprint on my mind. And so hence, these are some of the elements that I'm drawn to when it comes on to executing and developing an art piece.
So most of what you would have experienced growing up as a child would have basically influenced the artwork that you create.
Yes.
And what would some of those experiences be?
Both parents, farmers, and also people who work on the farm, you know, interaction with them. And the thing that working people, you know, the tales of the social tales and things like those influence my work tremendously. Mm-hmm. When you look in my work, you see stories. You see that conversation that continue, and that is a great part of us. And I see it as a way of me celebrating us as a people.
Mm-hmm. So I especially like this piece here. What kind of farm is this, Mr. Coke?
So this scene depicts the young sugarcane growing up and people who working in the field to make sure the field is rid of things like weed or unwanted stuff.
Perhaps you didn't know at the time, but we can definitely see that you started to learn about perspective from a long time ago.
From a long time.
Because you would have encountered such.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you? I mean, just growing up, I mean, what was that like for you? Did you always know that you were going to become an artist? Did you choose to become an artist? How did that play out?
I would answer this question as I do many a time, that art chose me. I was always a creative person since I know myself. Making toys and drawing stuff about myself and my peers would really find it fun to come and see what I've developed each day or what I draw each day. I would be drawing, when I start school, I would be drawing school project for the class. I'll be drawing project for other students who was unable to do so. And I find it a very rewarding discipline for me to do.
This piece here shows the boys playing cricket. Is this typical of, your experience
This is
growing
typical
up?
of my experience growing up. This would be like in the summertime. We would play in the area that the sugarcane would be reaped, and then we would have that whole plain just to play around. Some of my creativity in creating ball that we could play with.
You made your own cricket ball?
I made my own cricket ball. Very creative in finding ways of enjoying ourselves growing up.
So the need for play would have played a significant role in your creative development?
In my creative process.
So in a sense that your artistic training would have started informally from you just playing,
Definitely.
Your formal artistic training. How was that accomplished?
Well, even though I was creative from I know myself, it was a bit suppressed, so I didn't pay any attention to art or drawing formally growing up. When I was going to high school, I can't remember being in art department.
Really?
You know, because...
That is surprising.
Yes, yes, it is. But especially when my mom would say every book that have an empty page would be a drawing on it. And, you know, she didn't take that kindly. I wouldn't dare tell her that I need a drawing pencil or a sketch pad. It was expensive and it wouldn't seem necessary at the time.
Wasn't important?
Not to my parents, because art was looked at as just a hobby. After growing up and leave high school, I came to Kingston, and art was always there, but it never conceived in my mind that I would pursue it as a career choice. It's actually like I rediscovered by someone I was working with at the time.
Oh, really?
And they saw this creativeness in me. I was drawing as always. And he saw my drawing and saying, I didn't know that you have this talent. Did you ever consider going to, you know, that is where you'd call it like a light bulb moment.
We should thank the Lord for that person, right?
Where basically was reintroduced. My interest started. When I went to Edna, I realized that everything that we see around us, it consists of some element of art. Then I started study there, and I realized that there is no limitation to what I can achieve.
Excellent.
You know,
you would have gotten some formal training from Edna Manley, which is what counts for you being a painter today.
Yes.
And one of our celebrated painters, might I
Yes,
add.
thank you.
Talk to us a little bit about your creative process.
My creative process is almost straightforward. I actually create the image in my head first. When I reach the easel on the canvas, I have a clear idea of what I want to capture. I make sketch in a sense, but the sketch that I make is on the canvas surface right there, because then I would have the image in my head already and what I want to achieve. I use my brush and paint to make my sketches, so to speak, on the surface that I'm working on.
Wow,
you know,
that is amazing.
Yeah, I find it to be double work to sketch with a pencil and then go and paint.
Well, I don't find it to be double work. I actually find it to be quite helpful in terms of structuring my ideas and planning out everything so it expresses exactly what I want to express. But clearly, what is natural to you might not necessarily be natural to another person.
Because you know that there is not a one-way fit all. A student need to find out what they're good at and what they're comfortable at and use that approach. And so it is very important for them to learn different approach so that they can lean more to the one that would suit their style or suit them more comfortably.
You use a lot of vibrant colors in your paintings. You represent a lot of lighting every day. For a matter of fact, most of your painting look like a sunny day. There's not a cloudy day in any of your paintings.
You know, well,
why is that so?
We are a vibrant people. We live in the tropic. With the way how we express ourselves to each other. These are elements that I want to show in my work. I want to show life, rhythm, the vibrancy of our culture. I find using the color in a pronounced way, it shows all of these elements.
In your creative process though, do you normally do studies of certain subject matters that you represent in your artwork?
Yes, I do. I do studies. I'm a very observant person. Whatever environment I'm in, I'm observing the environment very meticulously. And there are things in that environment that will appeal to me artistically that maybe won't appeal to another person.
Right.
So I go to the marketplace regularly. I stay there for a long time, just observing, listening to the conversation. When I'm working on a subject, I want to know the subject inside out, so to speak. When I'm presenting this subject, I'm presenting this subject with a large degree of confidence that this is how it is, and this is also how I want it to represent.
It's funny that you say that, because in a previous lesson that we had, we would have looked at a statement that was made by Leonardo da Vinci, who said that he first goes to conduct his investigations and find out, try to understand all about the subject that he will be representing. Exactly. And then once he gathers that information, he now uses the information from his studies to inform why such and such should be a particular way. That is very interesting.
Exactly.
Very, very interesting. Basically, your theme is a form of social commentary.
Yes, it is. I see it as a platform where I can celebrate, as I said, our culture.
So, Any special awards, exhibitions?
Yes, art has been kind to me as I've been kind to art. I have 3 certificate of merit from JBDC, a Bronze Award. I recently have honorable mention, a certificate of excellence from Circle Foundation, which is based in France.
Oh, wow.
And that happened during the COVID time.
How were you able to learn the business of art? Was that from your school experience or did you have to learn that on your own? How were you able to make this a viable source of income for you?
Yes,
Because is art able to pay all your bills? Are you able to live comfortably? Because
Yes.
people don't believe
Yeah.
that, you know.
A lot of people don't believe, but I think it's a misconception. Art is a multi-million-dollar business annually. We need a more viable art industry in Jamaica, and then we
Okay.
could see great reward from art. You know, I was able to do the business based on my own discovery. I remember went to New York and going to the bookshop looking for art materials. And I come upon this book called The Business of Being an Artist. And that book has helped me tremendously in my whole approach.
We thank you so much, Mr. Coke, for sharing with us today.
Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can always know when I upload.